From Careco TV, one of the longest running outdoor programs on television today, exploring the country and the coast in search of adventures. From the mountains of the Great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, this is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. This week on Americana Outdoors, we're joining up with Wade Middleton and two of his good friends, James Niggemeyer and Jim Benken, on a pair of bass fishing trips where they're targeting largemouth bass that have moved up shallow to spawn. To kick things off, we're in northeast Texas on Lake Athens with Wade and James. Anglers often have to use a variety of baits to start the day, and so far, Wade and James have thrown everything but the kitchen sink at these picky little fish in order to get one to bite. From topwaters to crankbaits, buzzbaits and frogs, soft plastics and more, it wasn't until James threw a swim jig that they finally reeled in their first catch of the day.
Swim jig?
Yeah, swim jig.
We've thrown 9 different baits at them already.
Yeah. We're just giving them a little bit of a variety. Looks like a
buffet.
Little male that was probably guarding a bed or something up there. Pretty fish. I love that how green they are when there's all this vegetation and grass to be around.
That makes them pretty. Any bite is a good bite. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. There we go. I like it when the first bite's a good one,
Yeah,
James.
that's an icebreaker. You want me to grab him? You got him.
I'll get him. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. He got bigger as he got here. They usually shrink, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, they seem to do that.
I thought it was about a 3-pounder, and he grew a little bit.
Pretty fish.
Hey, don't do that.
He's mad.
Making pretty TV. Oh, nice.
That little swim bait is the go-to, isn't it?
It is for me. You know, I'm gonna throw my little wacky rigs around and throw my little swim bait, and you know, when it gets into that 58 to 64 degree water temperature, it just, you know, almost when I can't get bit, you know, there's something about it, confidence. And we've had 2 bites. You caught one on a swim jig, you know, and I had a little bite over there, but you know, that's some.
But I think yours would have ate my swim jig.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Springtime bass fishing, whenever I think of it, I always think, man, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna catch them on moving baits and they're gonna be aggressive. They're gonna be shallow where I like to target them. But a lot of times they might throw you for a loop because right before they go on the beds, there's a period there where kind of get tough. And then again, once the majority of the fish that are up lock on the beds, it can be even tougher to really get on a pattern. And so you really have to kind of slow down, work your presentation diligently in a given area that you might actually visually see a bass, but you might not. It may just be around a likely looking area, fishing it super slow, maybe even have to drop down to finesse type presentations and lighter line. So it's real important to keep an open mind. A lot of times you have a day like this where it's windy and overcast or cloudy and you think, man, we're gonna smash them. But you may have to work for every bite. So keep an open mind out there and stay at it. There's one.
There he is. I was just like, you gotta catch one in there.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm kind of surprised they're not more aggressive. And then he just came up and squirreled on it. I mean, that kind of a strike is something where I could just do it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Just hoping to get one more like that.
I agree.
That's a lot of fun.
That never gets old.
No. There we go. I think you called it. You said we'll catch 2 of them in here.
Right?
That's another nice one.
Let's hope. All these East Texas lakes, they're chunky when you get in these lakes in this area.
Yeah, it's there's so many different places to go too.
Yeah.
So. One of the hidden gems in East Texas is Lake Athens. It's a favorite of mine. It's about 40 minutes from where I live. Texas Parks and Wildlife has really done a great job of managing this fishery. Lots of habitat, whether it's hay grass, hydrilla, eelgrass, but you also have boat docks, and later on in the year, lily pads. This place is chock full of bait fish, threadfin, and then even bluegills and crappie. So it's just a really healthy fishery. And even though it gets a lot of pressure, it's a great place to go get a bite, and also you have the opportunity to catch a fish of a lifetime.
We'll return to the water in just a moment, but in the meantime, take this opportunity to subscribe to our Americana Outdoors YouTube channel.
My 3 favorite baits for fishing in the springtime when the fish are on beds. Number 1, I would say I'd want something that I can cover water with, and that might be a swim jig or maybe a swimming type worm. That's something I want to use so that I can move through areas efficiently and cover water till at least I get a first strike or maybe a follow or one bumps it. Then when I'm in and around areas, I want to slow down and either pitch a creature bait, something like a Gary Yamamoto flapping hog, or some type of a soft plastic bait like a Senko on a Texas rig. The other bait that I want to fish is a wacky rig, and whether it's a 4-inch or a 5-inch Yamamoto Senko, or even a finesse type worm, fished wacky. Those are going to be the 3 different types of presentations that I've found out work really well when the fish are up there in the springtime in the spawning.
Little guy. That's a crappie.
Oh, it's a crappie.
It sure is.
They'll catch all of them.
Yeah. Fish fry. Fish fry. Well, that fish hit it so hard.
Really?
That's the best bite of the day. It was like whack. There you go.
Woohoo! Never gets old when you're up there looking at them in
No.
real clear water like this. Pretty colors. Seems like when you're in that real clear water, you gotta use light line and kind of finesse them up. See if we can get the female to go. One of my favorite ways to catch them in the springtime is visually looking at them, sight fishing, either cruising bass or visually seeing them on a bed. And it doesn't matter if I'm out there for fun or in a tournament, it just wells up all kinds of emotions. My heart gets pounding, and just the idea of eliciting that strike from a fish that's being territorial over a certain area, there's just nothing like it. To be able to visually see the fish you're after and catch it is just a blast, and one of those things that I've done for many, many years, and it never gets old. Got him? There you go. That fish is bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah, he actually is.
Where'd you get that one on, Wade?
A little wacky. I had to twitch it over him about 5 times. He kept biting the tail. Like, I think he finally got it. So that's so fun. I mean, like you said, this lake has a lot of clear water and sets up nice for it. That was fun. That never gets old.
That was a hard fish to see.
It really was.
Chased the turtle, we didn't even know he was there.
I mean, that bed is so dark, it's like he scooped off all that topsoil and it was just that real dark under.
That's a good one right there. Bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah, me too. Come here. I ate it right down in there too. That wacky rig is so potent, whether you can actually see them on a bed or not. Really pretty fish. I love the colors. We talked about that earlier, how pretty in fisheries with a lot of grass in it like that.
That's nice. That never gets old.
No. No, actually, when it was posturing towards the bait, I thought, my heart started going. I'm like, there's nothing really, when we're just out here, trying to catch a few, and yet it still gets you super excited. The spring is definitely my favorite time of year to fish, but it has a lot of variables that can really affect whether or not you catch them. There's cold fronts that come through, you've got the pre-spawn phase, the spawn, and then the post-spawn. Trying to dial in exactly what those fish are doing is a big part of getting a bead on how to target them. So it can be challenging, but it can be super rewarding. It's probably one of the best times of the year, if not the best, to catch the fish of a lifetime. You gotta keep an open mind though, because day-to-day weather patterns will definitely affect how the fish relate and how aggressive they are. So keep that in your mind as you head out on the water in the springtime.
After about 8 hours of a fun day of fishing, James and Wade caught around 20 fish using a mix of baits and fishing styles, just like most anglers will experience when fishing during the springtime. Thanks for joining us, James. We hope to see you around soon. We'll return to the water in just a moment, but in the meantime, take this opportunity to subscribe to our Americana Outdoors YouTube channel. We're on Lake LBJ in Central Texas, where Wade and his good buddy Jim have their sights set on sight fishing during the springtime spawn.
Man, I love fishing with my buddy Wade, man. I was so excited when he texted me and says, hey, I got an open seat tomorrow. It's always fun, man. We've done a lot of shows together. I appreciate, I work for a charity now, Cast for Kids, and I appreciate the fact that he still invites me every once in a while. We get to have a good time together, and it's a good deal.
Before we catch back up with Wade and Jim on the water, let's take a moment to learn about Cast for Kids. For over 30 years, Cast has hosted fishing events for families of children with special needs and given them a chance to get outdoors, forget their struggles for a few hours, and feel celebrated for accomplishing tasks that those of us without disabilities tend to take for granted. If you'd like to get involved and make a difference in these children's lives, head on over to castforkids.org to volunteer for a local event. As we saw earlier on Lake Athens, finding bass on LBJ requires lots of moving around to find those spots where the fish might be bedding down. So far, Wade is leading the day with 3 fish for all of about 1.5 pounds. And it looks like Jim is about to claim a spot on the scoreboard.
Got it?
There he is.
Nice.
I told you I saw one, dude.
You did.
You said it was a tire. I said, no, that's a bed.
I said the tire was there.
Okay, okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's a dandy.
Yeah, man, I just begged for a one to thump it, and I felt a thump.
Yeah.
All right.
You said he swam off there.
Saddled with it.
Nice.
Got him good. Man, that's a nice one. Looks like me.
I like the round ones down there.
Yeah.
Their belly is grown over time.
Yep.
He said he rolled on it.
Yeah, he definitely reacted the first time I threw in there, and he real aggressive, and then he didn't get it. And I'm like, what?
It's funny how some swim to the dam and some just, you're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, very frustrating at times. Back in the day when you wanted to sight fish, you pretty much had to commit your whole day to it. You couldn't, it's no different than live scoping, I mean, these guys, they commit to it, that's what you got to do.
I think, well, dropping a jig in the grass,
Yep.
all of those
There you
kind
go.
of deals, when you're committed to it, when you go back and forth, it can sure cause you troubles. Not saying you're not going to catch them, because that's all I care about, but it definitely changes it up. I just think it's so cool to watch them react, whether I'm watching them on live scope, whether I'm watching them with my eyes, just seeing how they react and engage with the environment. You learn so much about how fish live and react and how they want to bite.
I mean, I've heard stories of guys like sight fishing in deeper water with a live scope, watching the fish. I mean, you can literally see them, go down on the bait. That's nuts, man. That's just so.
Well, it's no different than us trying to sight fish right now in 1 foot of water.
Yeah.
They've trained themselves to look at it and know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And I was doing it the other day in 5 foot, looking at a stump, and I could see a pair of them.
Really?
And because I know what they do, I knew they were trying to sit down there and spawn.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
On the topic of how cool it is just to simply watch the fish react to your bait, let's hear what advice Jim has for us when it comes to knowing what to throw to entice fish to bite during the spawn.
Throwing something weightless, a Senko style bait, a fluke style bait, a wacky style bait is always really good in the spring. I mean, I'm thinking this lake, I'm thinking Lake Amistad, even at Falcon. I mean, if you can throw one out there in the middle of that drain and let it float down real slow, it's just slow and sexy, man. It just falls real slow and does that, and they're not really in the eating mode, but when they see something that easy, they're gonna come up and chew on it. I mean, it's just the mood they're in right now, and it was pretty evident by watching the fish and how they reacted and everything else.
God bless fish like that. Fixing to bite it. It's just hard to get.
That plant is
It's just in the worst spot.
yeah, that plant is just, oh, here you go.
He bit it.
Yeah, he's back under, oh, did he? I didn't see that.
he
Yeah, he's back
actually
under
bit
there
it.
again.
Yeah, he bit it.
Oh, God. Yes.
Got him that
Yes.
time. Oh, he jumped off. Oh, dadgummit. Still fun.
Yeah, that was a good
man.
shot, man.
Golly.
That was cool.
It's just so fun when you can watch them do that. Even when you don't land them, it's fun.
It is. It's fun watching how he reacted every time, you know?
He's been a nice participant today.
Yep.
Thanks for playing along with us, Mr. Fish. We'll return to the water in just a moment, but in the meantime, take this opportunity to subscribe to our Americana Outdoors YouTube channel. We're catching back up with Wade and Jim as they intently watch 3 bass sizing up Jim's soft plastic craw. Let's see if one of them takes the bait.
There's
Okay,
3.
yeah.
There's 3 of them. The other one's fixing to eat it.
Yeah,
The smallest one's about to eat
of course.
it. Nah, she swam over it. Oh, they're both trying to eat it.
Yeah.
They both tried to eat it at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's too fun. I like commentating on your
It helped. You do. You're really good at that, Milton. You know, it always makes it funner and easier to catch a fish when you got competition for your bait, you know?
They were both
Yeah.
trying to, one was coming from the right, one was coming,
Yeah.
he's bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
Good deal.
This was a smaller one, so that's cool, yeah. And what bait did I just catch it on? This is all Wade stuff. I don't bring anything in my own. Cool looking bait though. But that's why the first time he had it, that's all he had in his mouth, and he swam like 12 feet with it. You know, he just had that claw in his mouth.
That's the thing about
There you
side
go.
fishing. You learn a lot about fish
Yeah.
watching them. That was cool.
Man, it's been so long since I've done this. It's really a thrill.
Throughout their time on the water, Wade and Jim have been using a variety of soft plastics to catch these spawning bass. While Jim has mixed up his presentation, Wade is stuck with his trusty tail shaker worm from Secret Lures for the majority of his bites today. This 5.5-inch worm is new for 2024, and its super soft, unsalted plastic and ribbed body from tip to tail make it come alive underwater and quiver with the slightest movement. Its flat bottom makes rigging simple, and it's ideal for drop shots, as well as pairing with the entire line of tail shaker jig heads. Let's get back to the water.
Right out in the middle there?
Oh, look at that big old
Tell
yellow.
me it's another rock bass. Oh, it's even better. It's a big bluegill.
That's
You are
pure
the
talent.
king.
Pure talent to hook it in the mouth.
You are the king, man.
Look at that. Perfectly hooked in the mouth.
I'll teach you later how to shake those fish off, okay? I'll teach you later.
Perfectly hooked inside the mouth. I think that is pure skill.
As we begin to wrap up our day, let's hear from Jim about how the day has played out and what worked best for them on the water.
We literally threw spinning rods all day long. You know, I threw a little fluke style bait, Wade threw a little wacky style bait, but it's the deal this time of year. I mean, they're not super aggressive, so you want a light bait, maybe just a nail weight in it and pitch it around. Caught several fish underneath boathouses today, several fish in little corners of concrete and stuff, but you can't do that without a weightless bait, you know. We didn't get lucky today and catch a really big one. I honestly thought, you know, every time we'd get into place and want to be fishing here, the other guy would just throw it in the middle of the drain and just feed line and let it go down, hoping a big fish swimming in, swimming out would eat it. You know, we didn't get lucky, but it's happened. It's worked many, many times in the past, you know, but that's why you want to do it. They're not really chasing. We're in that full spawn mode like we're in March now, so it's full spawn mode.
Now, the day may be coming to a close, but that doesn't mean Mother Nature didn't have one last round of excitement for Wade and Jim up her sleeve.
Oh, you coots are screwed. Oh! Daggone.
We got him pinned. He just hammered himself. He ran in the wall of this boathouse. He thought, I don't know what he was thinking, do
He
you?
thought he was going to fly through it.
What was he
I guess.
thinking?
I don't know. Oh,
He just
man.
slammed the
You
wall
can
of that
see
boathouse.
You can see
He's still
the,
kind of loopy.
you can see
Look,
the black
Gentry, he's
mark
all
where he hit.
good.
You can see the
He
black
just
mark.
slammed in the wall. You can see where he hit the wall. Look at the wet spot on the wall. It's like a foot up above that little brick.
Oh, that's sad.
He's like, oh, I gotta go under. Okay. Yeah, look at the wet spot. You can see.
No. That's sad.
So here is why when somebody my age, 60-something years old, anybody calls me an old coot, I take offense to that because they are the dumbest birds alive, the stupidest birds alive. If that doesn't prove it, nothing will. So old people, somebody calls you an old coot, take offense because
I
it's
felt
bad.
bad for the bird.
I did. We both went, oh, you poor thing, you know?
That's like, man.
We both did that.
It's like, that's not my fault.
Don't worry, Jim. We don't think you're an old coot, just a great old friend. Thanks for joining us on the water today and sharing your insight for how to have a fun and successful day of sight fishing during the spawn. Hey, thank you for watching, and join us again next week on a new episode of Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production.